gentlemen, we have made it. The grind is real through all of the injuries, all of the weather bombs, all of the late nights and early mornings, the replacing, the swapping, the switching. It is championship week here in fantasy football. This is the parlay on the best television show, not on TV. Authentic in the Beard, the best division in football. Hopefully, you'll be able to end Monday night walking around your living room like Will Smith and Ali. The champ is here. The champ is here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I apologize to all New York Giants fans who thought they might have a new GM in this young man. But I have brought him on to the Beard's fantasy front office as my official assistant general manager. Ladies and gentlemen, Awthentik is in the building.
I'm here for the GM position. Somebody told me I'm here to see Mr. Mara. What's cracking, man?
How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Got to watch some good college football last night, man, and got to see the battle of the two top quarterbacks. Not in the same game, but got to at least see them both on display. For those of y'all that missed that, definitely check out the channel. We did the compilations for those, and my guy Cam Ward living up to that authentic stature of QB1 right now, as far as at least the games went yesterday. But definitely a good day of college football. At least get a little extra chance to see these quarterbacks before this whole process happens at the end of the season. I know you're not quite as excited about that process. That was you last year. New York Giants fans, we got to relive this again, and hopefully we can get our quarterback this year.
I will tell you, though, I am excited for the Commanders' overall draft because we do have a lot of guys on one-year deals, and we've cut so many players. We cut another Ron Rivera draft pick in Mathis this week. So it's it's kind of interesting where we are, obviously as a franchise. And, hopefully we have a late-round pick. But we do have a lot of good number of picks. And, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of talent, I think, that second round to fourth round talent in this draft, especially at the wide receiver position, the cornerback position.
Ty Felton.
So we'll see how things pan out for the Commanders. We obviously have a lot on the line here tonight in I want to say DC, but it is in Maryland. But you get the picture. Yep. Obviously, Michael Penix, one of our favorite quarterbacks in last year's draft, coming into town. So that'll be interesting. We got some really good football last night. Obviously, the other games were kind of dreadful, starting on Thursday night with that Bears game. But, that Bengals-Broncos game was absolutely insane, and it obviously sets up a lot of scenarios going forward this week, today, and then moving forward into next week as far as the AFC goes in that last position. And then obviously Green Bay-Minnesota game has huge implications, not only for the Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions for that division, but also for Washington and Green Bay trying to get into that spot. And then fantasy-wise, there was some people put up some numbers. I'm facing Joe Burrow, so that put me in quite a hole, and we'll touch base on some questions.
Crazy.
Yeah, some questions I have. Although I did have T. Higgins in a lineup, and I did have Lab McConkey, so that definitely helped me out.
Had a good game. Ramondre.
Yeah. That was not good at all. A lot of questions brewing in New England, but they just have a very bad, overall roster over there right now. I'm a fan of Gerard Mayo, so hopefully he gets another opportunity.
He should. First year rookie quarterback. I think they did it the right way. The record obviously is terrible, but I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, and don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in your championship game or even playing for third place, or maybe you're building a DraftKings lineup, don't forget to drop those questions in the chat. We will answer those questions as we move throughout the show. We're going to go ahead and start with a few questions first before we move into some sits and some sleepers for this week. This is a really interesting question and one that I think is super important, especially if you're in the championship game. Big shout out to our guy, your guy, everybody's guy. Sebastian is in the building. Says, start Miami defense versus Browns or Indy defense versus Giants.
That's two good matchups, two defenses that aren't great, but going up against teams that are absolutely terrible. DTR last week not looking too good, so Miami's defense might be a good move. The Giants are just, but this could be one of those games I feel like where, you get some kind of miraculous performance from Drew Lock and he puts up 2 touchdowns. I think I'm going with Miami versus the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up Indy's defense specifically for this matchup 2 weeks ago. So I will be playing Indy's defense. I think that I'm going to agree with Authentic, though, that if Miami's defense was available, given the fact that now there's no Jameis Winston, I know Jameis had the turnover capability, but his offensive output is light years ahead of what a DTR is doing. And the weather in the Cleveland game looks like it's going to be very, very nasty. And Miami doesn't have it looks like I'm almost 99% sure there's going to be no Tua. So Miami, this is a must win for Miami and a must win for Indianapolis. So I think I'm going to agree with Authentic, though. I think I'm going to double down and say Miami's defense looks poised to create more turnovers, if that makes sense. I think that's where you're probably going to get a good amount of points from your defense in this matchup. So I'm also going to go with Miami's defense. Up next, we got another one from Sebastian. Sebastian is he's having himself a championship weekend here. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat.
He's having himself a championship half a decade, man. I feel
like
Sebastian
every
is
year.
always around during this time of year.
He says he has Tyreek Hill and James Cook on his bench. Should they start over McLaurin and Brian Thomas? For me, this is a easy no. I like McLaurin and Brian Thomas in this, but Tyreek Hill with Huntley at quarterback is better than Skylar Thompson, but it's not Tua. James Cook is a little. I would contemplate James Cook maybe over Terry McLaurin, but I just feel like McLaurin is he's the guy in Washington. Like, he's going to get his one way or another. And I expect him to attack Atlanta early and often. So I think you're safe with McLaurin and Brian Thomas.
Yeah, McLaurin's got 2 games to break a franchise record for the Commanders for most receiving touchdowns in a season. So I think that's major. I think they're going to even make more emphasis to try to target him and get him involved. Him and Brian Thomas are very similar level. Going with a running back might be a safer play. But the Bills do tend to just get out in front early. That would help the James Cook narrative there. But I think I would sit tight. I think I'm going to agree with the Beard on this one.
And then up next, we got one from our favorite name on Twitch. Ubiquitously is in the building.
I don't understand why that gives you that much trouble.
Ubiquitously.
There we go. Sound it out, man.
I got to, because when I say ubiquitously, it feels more like I'm about ready to drop 16. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is a long one, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up. It says, I would ask 12 teams. So this is a 12-team half-point PPR starting Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones. Do I start any one of London, Jerome Ford, Tajay Spears, or Isaac Guerrero over any of them? He is already down 125 to 2. He had Burrow, Chase, Sutton, Kelsey, Henry, Dobbins, and he has Gibbs left. Whew.
That's tough.
So you're shooting for the stars here. I mean, listen, I love Barkley and Jonathan Taylor. I have that exact duo in one of my championship games right now, and I have also going against Burrow, so I feel your pain here. I had Kelsey on my bench. Mike Evans, I think, has a monster game. Aaron Jones, he performed very well against Green Bay in their first matchup. Revenge game. I think Drake London, no Marshawn Lattimore for the Commanders, so there's a potential that he eats against St. Juice. I like Jerome Ford. I don't think I like him enough to move him in any of your lineups. The only one I would think about would be Tajay Spears.
Yep.
And that, where do you slip him in, though, is the question. Do you take him out over
consider him
Aaron
over
Jones?
Aaron Jones?
It's risky.
It's very risky. And the thing is that I don't think it'll yield the kind of points that would, like, get you back into this game. Like, supplementing Tajay Spears for Aaron Jones is not going to be the move of why you won your championship game here. I think down 125 to 2. It's a coin flip for me, to be honest. I mean, Jones, Tajay, I like the matchup today for Tajay Spears. Me and the Beard talked about it pre-show, but I think Jones could have, equally as good of a game today.
Yeah, I mean, you're really looking at probably a 25-point ceiling from both of those guys. I don't think the point that Awthentik made of, I don't think that one gives you the more of the higher ceiling. I mean, Tajay Spears, we're going to talk about him in a little bit here. He's a guy that, I think can get you that 25 points. Aaron Jones, yeah, maybe it's tough for him to score some touchdowns because he get taken away from, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
TJ
But
Hawkinson.
I just don't know. I think you got to stick with this lineup. I think it's a good lineup. I think you have a chance here. I don't know who your starting quarterback is, but I think you stick with what you have.
Yeah, I'd stick with what you got too. I mean, consider the Tajay Spears move because I think that he's going to be a more pivotal role in that Titans offense than Jones might be with the Minnesota Vikings offense. But I don't think it's that drastic. 125, so he got big points. Chase had like 100 yards yesterday as well and a touchdown, right?
Yep.
And Burrow had the huge game. So Kelsey had a pretty big game as well. That's where he got all the points. So from those three guys, you need some points, bro. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for you, but maybe Barkley and Jonathan Taylor get you back in this one.
He's got Jaden Daniels as his quarterback and Brock Bowers as his tight end.
Yeah,
I think you got a chance. I think you got a chance here. Hopefully, you take down that championship. And we got one more before we move into our sleepers and sit-ems. Big shout out to Oscar checking in. Says Joshua Downs or McMillan for Tampa Bay. Full point PPR.
Give me Josh Downs. I just like his pairing with Joe Flacco. They've had a lot of success. We're going to talk about it in the sleeper section as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think McMillan has really stepped up since Godwin has gone down. I just really, like Awthentik said, I really like Joshua Downs, his matchup today, the quarterback play, and he's a guy that we're going to talk about here in a couple of seconds. So I'm going to go agree with Awthentik and go Downs. Hopefully we're helping you guys today because this is rare where we're actually 100 in agreement on a lot of these things. So hopefully we are both right, and the power of 2 is better than the power of 1.5. But appreciate the question, Oscar. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some of the sleepers for this week, championship week in fantasy football. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the toughest thing to do this year at this point is the sleepers and the sit-ems, because this is it. You're in the championship game. There's no waiver wire. I mean, there are a lot of injuries. Guys being ruled out. Tua's out. Hurts is out. Chuba Hubbard is out. Kamara is out. David Montgomery is out. I know some people who have had monster teams all year long, and they're sitting in the championship game, and they're down big, and they have to rely on certain guys. So, I mean, there's some names out there. I'll give you a quick little Raheem Blackshear, running back for the Carolina Panthers. Now, listen, this is a reach here. But Chuba Hubbard has been a guy who's produced for teams all year long. Now, you might have a little bit of Mike Boone action. I mean, Mike Boone, I feel like, has been playing running back position for the last 20 years, okay? But he's probably going to be elevated from the practice squad. I assume that Blackshear is probably going to get a bulk of the work here. We don't know if Carolina's just going to go full-blown pass mode or not, but Blackshear is a guy that is available, and maybe you slip him in a lineup or two in DraftKings. Another guy who's going to be playing a significant role due to injury is going to be Kendre Miller. He's a guy that I think a lot of people had high hopes for in fantasy world over the last couple of seasons. He's just been, killed by injuries, and obviously he's behind Alvin Kamara, but you thought he could have provided that running back 2 position for Alvin Kamara. Now they have Williams, but I feel like they just don't use him at all, really.
The fall off for him has been incredible.
Yeah, he went from leading the league in touchdowns to literally just not getting touches at all. So, you can look at Kendre Miller, no Kamara. He had 27 touches over the last 3 games, and, obviously 2 3/4 of that was with Kamara. So there is an opportunity there for him, and they have a pretty favorable matchup. So those are a couple of guys to kind of keep your eyes out on. The 2 main guys here, and these are 2 guys that Awthentik and I both agree on. The first one's going to be Tajay Spears, okay? He's been getting some action over the last couple of games. How many points is it the last couple of games, Awthentik?
47 total.
47 total over the last 2 games. That's almost averaging 24 fantasy points per game, basically. And in those last 3 games, he's got 13 targets. So 13 targets with Tony Pollard. Now Tony Pollard is out. Tajay Spears is going to handle the bulk of the carries. And he's going up against the Jacksonville defense, who has allowed the 5th most touchdowns rushing on the season this year in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's also he got 61% of the snaps last week. He got more touches than Tony Pollard did. So I like Tajay Spears' matchup, and if ubiquitously would have been in a full PPR league, I would have considered actually being like, you absolutely got to put him in the lineup. He's also getting the red zone touches. He got every one of their red zone touches last week, 4 of them when they got down there. So Tajay Spears, I mean, you talked about 13 targets, bro. If it was PPR, I would have absolutely put him in there. I think that he can be more of a an effective, route runner coming out of the backfield than a guy like Aaron Jones could.
And that Jacksonville matchup, fantasy-wise, they're one of the worst against the running back positions, and that's another thing that we kind of have to take into consideration also. And then moving on to the quarterback position, and I'm in this position. I am starting Joe Flacco in a fantasy football championship game. I don't know what else to tell you. Shout out to my general manager, Awthentik. We had a conversation yesterday. I mean, I had Mason Rudolph, Aaron Rodgers, and then Joe Flacco came in when the Anthony Richardson news broke. So I've been trying to figure out who's going to replace Tua, because he went from being questionable to doubtful to basically being out. So I am playing Joe Flacco in my championship game this week, and he has put up at least 2 touchdowns in 5 of his 6 starts this year. He's going up against the New York Giants defense, which let's just be honest here, they stink all the way around. They've got 2 wins on the year. So I'm hoping Joe Flacco can seal the deal for me in this fantasy football championship. So those are some of my sleepers I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I love the Joe Flacco sleeper section. I mean, he's always in the sleeper section. The entire last season he was there. And I looked up some me and the Beard talked yesterday on the phone about this, actually, and looked up his games with Josh Downs. So I like the pairing of Joe Flacco and Josh Downs, or one or the other. If you're struggling to quarterback position, or you need a wide receiver or possibly a flex guy, I think Josh Downs can be that. They have 6 starts together. Josh Downs has over 60 yards in all 6 of the starts, and he has a touchdown in half of the games. So I like it. I think Joe Flacco's a guy that can make some mistakes as well, but also is absolutely going to get the ball in the end zone. So I like both of these guys today if you're struggling to put one of these guys, or, you need somebody at that position in your lineup. I also like Brock Purdy, a guy that I think is kind of interesting that he's in the sleeper section to begin with, but it has been a very tough year for the 49ers. They were eliminated just a week ago. He's got over 20 fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games. The Lions are likely going to score a lot of points in this game. Their defense is banged up. This is either going to be a shootout, or it's going to be a game where Brock Purdy's throwing the ball at the end of this one to try to claw and get back into the game. So I think Brock Purdy's a good start this week if you're kind of on the fringe at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and that might open up for a big game for a guy like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, especially because of how banged up they are at the running back position. So I definitely like the Brock Purdy
Deebo was
play.
in a lot of sleeper sections this week, I noticed, in a lot of the articles that I was skimming through and whatnot. I noticed Deebo was there. But Deebo's one of them guys I feel like we've been waiting all year long to, have that big breakout game that he's supposed to have, and it just hasn't been there this year.
Big shout out to Door Gunner with the $2 super chat. Says bathing in eagle tears is soothing for the soul. I feel like that's sounds like a Soul Glow commercial, the way that I want to read that one. But
yeah, it's a freaky Soul Glow commercial.
Big shout out to Door Gunner. The Eagles are in a tough spot. I mean, listen, going up against the Dallas Cowboys. If you guys missed our preview show and you wanted to go back and watch that section, you can do so here on the Awthentik and the Beard channel. We talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys matchup. No Jalen Hurts. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I'm obviously playing with my heart here for the slim chance that we can
have
win
an opportunity
that division.
Yeah. I feel you.
I think we have I think it's a 2.3% chance to win a division. Last I looked, so
yeah. Forget the chances. The Eagles got to lose their games. That's really what it is.
Big shout out to Door Gunner. We appreciate you, bud. Up next is going to be Anthony Boo checking in. Says flex position. Jerome Ford or Adam Thielen. Down bad to McConkey and Puka duo. Yeah, that's a tough one. Listen,
That
I'm
is
in a
tough.
similar position here, and I'm gonna pose this my question right after we answer this one. Adam Thielen is going to get like, let's say Adam Thielen's on projected for in my the Beard's projections. He's projected for double-digit targets.
Say about targets. Okay, I thought you were gonna say points. I was gonna say about 12 points, double-digit targets. I like that.
So you do what you want to do with that. I mean, he's been a guy. He's been reliable when he plays. He puts up numbers. Jerome Ford is a sneaky play. He really is, because listen, no Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford can catch the ball at the backfield. He can run. They're probably going to have to run the ball with DTR throwing the ball. The weather in that game is proving to be a run game sort of situation. But the problem is, who do you want to put your money on? Your championship hopes in the hands of? Adam Thielen or Jerome Ford? That is the tough question. Neither, right?
Neither. Yeah, absolutely neither. Adam Thielen, though, has been producing. I mean, he's got back-to-back games with 5 receptions. He had a touchdown in his last outing. Only has double-digit targets twice this year in about 9 games. 8 games, actually. Yeah, 8 games. In both the games that he had double-digit targets, he basically had 100 yards. He had 99 in one game with 10 targets. He had 102 in one game with 11 targets. I like that matchup. They're going up against the Bucs today. The Bucs shows you yesterday they're susceptible to the pass. I mean, you saw CeeDee Lamb went crazy against them. Cooper Rush had a pretty decent day against them as well. I think I'm going to go Adam Thielen over Jerome Ford.
I will double down with you and go Adam Thielen as well. So this poses a question that the Beard is facing in his fantasy championship matchup, one of his 2 matchups. Do I go Adam Thielen or Tajay Spears?
I go Tajay.
Tajay?
Yeah.
Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Does the Beard play Adam Thielen or Tajay Spears in his championship matchup this week? That is the dilemma that I am facing moving in out of this live stream that I will have to pull the trigger on. Right now, I have Adam Thielen in my lineup, but I picked up Tajay Spears this morning off the waiver wire. So
Spears, man, just better matchup going up against a worse defense. You don't got to deal with quarterback play. I think it's a no-brainer.
Looks like
got 2 votes for Spears already.
Yeah, two votes for Spears already. And I am facing a lineup that I am getting absolutely destroyed in. He had Joe Burrow and Lad McConkey. So I'm hurting over there. I am projected to lose by 20 points. So looks like we'll move Spears into lineup. Up next, shout out to everybody on Twitch, checking in on Twitch today. We appreciate all the love.
Yeah, no doubt.
Says, Double I Fluff Star is in the building.
Fluffster.
Okay, Double I Fluster. I was so focused on the 2 eyes.
Fluffster.
Yeah.
Double I Fluffster sounds better. I like it.
Double I.
We made a new nickname if that's not the nickname.
Says, all right, gentlemen, who are we trusting to save my championship round? Lad and Jamar already cooked me.
It's the theme for a lot of people
today. DraftKings. DK Metcalf put up 7, and Lamar gave me 30. So that is hope right there. Devonta Smith, Josh Downs, Jameson Williams, Jawan Jennings. Who are we trusting? How many do we get to pick? That is the question.
Let me see. Devonta Smith, Joshua Downs. Who are we trusting? I'll just tell you who we trusting while we wait on it. Look, I like Jawan Jennings. I think he's played extremely well, like in some difficult spots with a bunch of injuries over there with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm expecting a big day from Brock Purdy. I like Jawan Jennings. Devonta Smith is the tough one without Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position. But, I mean, Kenny Pickett hit him with a good throw last week, and he dropped it. Right? But I don't trust Devonta Smith without Jalen Hurts in the lineup. Joshua Downs, I'm trusting him right now. I think that's a good little pairing with him and Joe Flacco. JMO, we talking about Jameson Williams from Detroit?
Yeah. We only get one.
We only get one.
You got to pick just one out of these guys. He's got Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bucky. That's a hell of a
just
trio.
one out of those guys. I'm either going to go Jameson Williams or Juwan Jennings.
Over Josh Downs.
Yeah. Because Jameson Williams has the connection already. They've been doing it all year.
Yes.
I don't know how much I trust Josh Downs and Joe Flacco to come in just one game and get it popping.
Okay, so we have to choose between Jameson Williams and Juwan Jennings. Who are we picking? Who are we putting in our lineup?
I think I'm going to go with J-Mo. I think so.
What's his last couple of games look like? Do you know off the top of your head?
Nah, I can get to him real quick, though.
But yeah, we are down to Jameson and Juwan Jennings. If you're in the chat right now, tell us what you think. Who would you pick, Jameson Williams or Juwan Jennings in the chat? Let's see what some of the chat thinks on this one. It's a tough one, but I think we can ease our minds knowing Kenny Pickett's playing quarterback and Josh Downs, who we like, but like Awthentik said, is coming in and Joe Flacco after weeks of Anthony Richardson.
Juwan Jennings has that potential to just have like a monster 2-touchdown type of game. He just has that potential. It just happens out of nowhere. It's happened a bunch this year. Jameson Williams is coming off of 7 targets, 5 receptions for 143 yards and a touchdown versus the Bears last week. Before that, he went 4 games without a touchdown. Well, actually, let me take that back. He had 1 touchdown against Buffalo, but under 80 yards. Then he had 124. I mean, he's big play, man. He's all about big play. He only has double-digit targets 1 time this whole season. He's a big play guy. I think I'm going Jameson Williams.
This is very tough. Very, very
You want to look at Juwan Jennings just to be safe?
Yeah, because I feel like Juwan Jennings is like a double-digit target guy every week, right?
Yeah, it's been interesting with him, man.
Brock Purdy's go-to guy.
His hair is crazy. So let's see. He's coming off of, the last 2 weeks, 6 targets versus the Miami Dolphins for 51 yards, no touchdown. 9 targets versus the Rams. He had 2 receptions for 31 yards and no touchdown. The week before that against the Bears, he seems like everybody eating against the Bears. He had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns against them. Yeah, man, they're both boom or bust in different ways. With Juwan Jennings, it's the touchdowns. So he has 2 games where he has multiple touchdowns this year and over 100 yards, or over 90 yards, sorry. In one of those games, he had 11 receptions on 12 targets for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns, but that was back in week 3. So, yeah, I think he has more of the capability to be phased out. I'm going Jameson.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get points, right? Because you're going up against Lad McConkey, right? Who just killed you, Jamar Chase. They're both in the same game, both on Monday night. It's going to torture you whichever way you go. But I think you need the boom that Jameson Williams could provide you. I'm gonna go with Awthentik. I think you go Jameson Williams here. You got to shoot for the stars.
Especially if you got any bonuses or anything like that for plays over 40 yards or anything like that. I just think Jameson Williams is one big play could literally make his day for you. Whereas Juwan Jennings is going to need that, kind of knick-knack, get in the end zone type of vibe. So I hope we don't steer you the wrong direction because, like I said, Juwan Jennings is that kind of guy that, you put him on the bench and then he comes up with 2 touchdowns and you feel in some type of way. But I would just, if it was me, I would go I would go with Jameson Williams.
And then last question before we move into the sit section. Big shout out to Lexo24. Is Malik Neighbors good to go? Don't want him to do my team like James Conner did.
Yeah, came in questionable.
That James Conner killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we talked about Malik Neighbors before the show started. I feel like he's been questionable every week for the last 5-6 weeks, right? And he puts up double-digit fantasy points. I think. I mean, you gotta play him at this point unless you really have somebody who's a top tier guy above him to put in. But I wouldn't get cute with Neighbors. I think you just got to go with the flow. He's been playing banged up all year long, so I think you should be okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Real quick before you move on, this is my dog right here from Bleacher Report, man. Big shout out to the gang, dog. Appreciate you pulling up, my G.
Shout out to Anthony. We appreciate you joining us here on the YouTube side of Awthentik and the Beard.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tough section, but we're going to do it because that's what we do. We do the tough things that nobody else wants to do. We're going to talk about some guys that you got to sit on your bench in your fantasy championship week 17. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get a little risky, a little dicey here. This is not because I'm wearing Commanders gear. I am very unbiased when it comes to my fantasy takes. I think you got to sit Rico Dowdle. Listen, he's been a guy that's been a guy for the last couple of weeks, but every once in a while, you run into a couple of walls. And he ran into a bit of a wall last week, didn't have quite the best game as he had the couple of weeks prior to. He's going up against the Philadelphia defense. In the first game, he had 8.9 fantasy points against Philly. Philly's allowed the second fewest touchdowns all season long to running backs. They've only allowed nine running backs for rushing touchdowns. They've only allowed 9 rushing touchdowns all season long. It seems extremely tough for me to play Rico Dowdle. I know there's no CeeDee Lamb. But also you got to think about on the other side, you got Kenny Pickett. So it might be a little interesting to see what goes down there. I'm a little sketchy to play Rico Dowdle in this game. Up next, the next guy is going to be Dalton Kincaid. A lot of people were excited for him when he came back. Since he's come back, he's been nothing really. I mean, he's under double-digit fantasy points in every game since his return. The last 2 weeks, he's played under 50% of the offensive snaps for the Buffalo Bills. He's going up against the New York Jets, who allowed the 10th fewest fantasy points to tight ends, and they've only allowed 4 tight ends all year long to have double-digit fantasy points. So those are a couple of guys. And the last one I'm going to throw out there is a guy I think Awthentik and I talked a little bit about, and it's Jerry Jeudy. I mean, the guy's been the number 1 wide receiver for the last 4 weeks, and a lot of that has to do obviously with the big game, the revenge game. But he is playing in the rain. He was limited with a leg injury all week long, and his quarterback is not Jameis Winston. It is not eating
Deshaun
W's.
Watson.
It's downtown locker room, DTR, who is 0 for 11 on all passes over 15 yards this season. So it's not looking good for your boy Jerry. Those are 3 guys I'm going to be sitting on the bench this week.
I'm a big fan of Jerry Jeudy, my Haitian brethren for one. But the weather definitely does present an issue. You talked about DTR struggling at quarterback. He had 0 net passing yards at the half last week. He finished with just 157 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So bad weather, bad quarterback at the moment. That doesn't yield well for a wide receiver who is definitely getting on the right track. The last one I'm going to throw out here because it is getting late in the season, and all these guys deserve playing time, right? We don't want to put too many players on the bench. There were a couple guys I thought about, Amari Cooper being one of them, but I was like, let me not do that. It's Tyrone Tracy going up against the Colts today. And it's not to say that Tyrone Tracy can't have a big day, but the last 5 weeks have been absolutely pathetic for Tyrone Tracy. 5 straight games under 50 yards. He does have a touchdown in 2 of those games. Do you take the risk? If you had Tyrone Tracy in your lineup over the past couple of weeks and he hasn't been producing the way that he has not been producing, I don't think you can go into the championship taking that risk. It does present an opportunity against the Colts to maybe have a good day because I do think that these are going to be 2 teams that will be focused on the run today. But I think if it was my team, I'd have Tyrone Tracy on the bench for week 17 in fantasy.
Yeah, and listen, say you had Tyrone Tracy, you might be in a position that I'm in, where this morning I went to the waiver wire and picked up Tajay Spears. If Tajay Spears is on your waiver wire, you're gonna have to pick him up and play him over Tyrone Tracy all day, right?
Can we guarantee that Tajay Spears has a bigger day than Tyrone Tracy?
I don't think we can guarantee anything. We do not give financial advice here all day.
I'm all but guaranteeing it.
But I will stamp the beard of approval guarantee on that one. I mean, listen, you guys have got me playing Tajay Spears over Adam Thielen in the championship game, so I think
Watch Thielen go crazy though.
It's gonna listen. This is what I do when I'm in a situation like this. I hedge my bets. So I make a DraftKings lineup basically with all the players that I put on my bench and the players I'm going up against in the other team's lineup.
Yeah,
So like,
you can get a second prize.
if all those people go ham, at least I feel good. I have a DraftKings
Yeah.
lineup with those guys. So
Smart.
It
Smart.
makes me feel a little bit better. We got a question in the chat from Jaden B. All right, here we go, Jaden. Garrett Wilson, Jacoby Myers, Alexander Madison, Isaac Guerrero, Blackshear. It is tough sledding, Jaden.
Yeah, it is.
But hey, you're here. That's what matters. You get one wide receiver, one running back, and one flex here. Who are you going with?
1, 1, and 1. Okay.
You get 40 to 50-yard touchdown and 100-yard game bonuses.
Give me Isaac Guerrero for sure. Let me see if it'll be flex or running back. Give me Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver. Give me Jonnu Smith at tight end. Them other names up there. I guess we're going Jacoby Myers in the flex.
Listen, this is what I would do. I'd go double tight end here.
Bring in TJ
Yeah.
in the flex.
Putting Guerrero as your running back one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go Jonnu Smith at your tight end, Hawkinson at your flex. Now the real question is Jacoby Myers or Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver one.
I'd go Garrett Wilson at 1, but yeah, I like the idea of both tight ends in the game. I mean, yeah.
Because I feel like Jonnu Smith, I know Jonnu Smith has been popping since Tua came back, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do know that. But I don't think Waddle's probably not going to play in this game. Tyreek Hill's banged up. Everybody knows a backup quarterback's best friend is a tight end.
Yeah, maybe that's reason to maybe just go TJ Hawkinson at tight end, though, and not go Jonnu Smith.
And it's raining in that Miami-Cleveland game. But Miami has to win.
Yeah.
But Green Bay is
TJ
hella
is-
good against the tight end position.
Yeah, a lot of cooks in the kitchen over there in Minnesota, too.
Yeah.
That's tough. The tight end situation is tougher than I imagined. I got to look at TJ Hawkinson's last couple of games. I
know Jonnu Smith is double digits every game in the last, 5 games.
Yeah,
that
and
I know.
without Tua, that's going to be weird.
That is going to be weird. Now, I'm a little skeptical about Garrett Wilson over Jacoby Myers.
TJ Hawkinson on the bench.
TJ Hawkinson on the bench.
Yeah, I'd put TJ on the bench. He hasn't scored a touchdown all year.
He's been back for 5 games now?
8.
8 games? Has it been that many games he's been back?
Yeah, he got back November 3rd.
And he has 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, 0 touchdowns, 1 100-yard game. Every other game is under 55 yards except 1. And that was November 10th against Jacksonville.
Okay, so we'll go Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1, Jacoby Myers as your flex, Guerrero as your running back 1, and Jonnu Smith as your tight end.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
There we go, Jaden. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to put any other questions you may have leading up to the end of this show. We are now at the junction when we are going to go rapid fire. We're going to pick every single game that's left to be played in the NFL this week. We're going to pick the overs, the unders, and against the spreads. Ladies and gentlemen, get your fingers ready. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win, cover the spread, and go over or under. The first game of the day is going to be the Carolina Thielens, who are 4-11. They are headed down to Tampa to face the Baker Buccaneers, who are 8-7 and 8.5-point favorites. The over-under is 47.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a must-win game for Tampa Bay. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I'm definitely going Tampa Bay. I mean, I think that through the season, Tampa Bay has shown that they are not a team to be with the upper echelon of the NFC right now. They're somewhere in the middle. They need to, catch a backdoor claw, crawl your way into the playoffs type of vibe here. We saw them lose a couple of games early on in the season when they were healthy. Then they didn't, they had a bunch of injuries, went on a losing streak there for a quick couple of games. I want to say it was about 3 or 4 games, actually. And now they kind of got back on track, and then you lose to the Dallas Cowboys in a must-win game last week. So I think you can't afford to lose this one, obviously, against the Carolina Panthers that are in your division. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm gonna take the Panthers to cover the 8.5 though, and I'm gonna take the under 47.5.
I am all aboard. Give me Carolina to cover the 8.5. I'll take Tampa Bay to win, and I will take the under 47.5. We get close to that 47.5, I think, but I'm going to take the under on that one. That one was a little tricky. I wanted to go over, but then I said 47.5. That's kind of crazy to have that. They're really putting Tampa Bay to have a high team total there.
Yep.
Up next is going to be the New York Jets, who are 4-11. They're headed up to Buffalo to face the Bills, who are 12-3. The Bills are favored by a whopping 9.5. They struggled a little bit last week against the New England Patriots. The over-under in this game is going to be 46.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give me Buffalo to win. 9.5 seems crazy. Which Jets team shows up? That's the question.
Sauce Gardner banged up. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this one.
All right, I'll take Buffalo. Give me Buffalo to cover the 9.5. Buffalo to win. I'll take the under 46.5.
Locked in. I like it. Let's get it.
Up next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 3-12, and this is crazy. They're 3-12, but they are a 1.5-point road favorite headed to New Orleans to face the Saints, who are 5-10. The over/under in this game is a disgusting 37.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
The Saints have one of the ugliest logos in the NFL. That's what I got right there. Let's start right there. Number two.
It's the fleur de lis, and it is New Orleans.
It's terrible. It's a terrible logo. Every time we hit the graphics department during the week, and I'm looking at that damn logo, I'm like, ugh,
hot take.
Terrible. Second, Alvin Kamara. 2 weeks ago, I said, man, he's going to get to 1,000 yards. He's out this week. If he's out next week, he's going to miss 1,000 yards by 50 yards. I hope that's not the case. 3, these teams are absolutely terrible. I'm rooting for the Saints. I am rooting for the Saints because the Raiders are kind of in the way, when it comes to draft position here for the New York Giants. So I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to root for the Saints. I feel like the Raiders are going to win. It'll be a miracle if the Saints can get to 6 wins on the season. They've been absolutely terrible. But I'm going to take the Saints in this one. I'll take the Saints to okay, so they're just going to outright win. I can't even believe the Vegas Raiders are favored in this one. We'll go under the 37.5.
Jesus.
Yeah, we'll go under that 37.5.
I would never bet on this game ever. I would never bet. I want nothing to do with a game like this. This is what happens. This is a game where you think is going to happen, and it's complete opposite. Jeez. All right, I'll help the Giants fans. Give me New Orleans to win. I'm going to take the over 37.5. It can't be that bad. We'll get some really funny plays.
Kentrell Miller reminds me of Tyrone Tracy a little bit. Similar kind of vibes, like where they don't have that true explosive kind of characteristic in their skill set, but they're still very good north and south runners.
Yeah. Up next, speaking of disgusting, and 2 teams that I don't know if they tie, if that helps you guys, but we're going to go Tennessee Titans, the Tajay Spears extravaganza. This is the only reason why you're probably watching this game at this point. There's some Brian Thomas Jr. obviously on the other side, but the Titans are 3-12. They're headed down to Duval to face the Jaguars, who are 3-12. The Jaguars are 1.5-point favorites. The over/under in this game is 39.5. Listen, you got Mason Rudolph versus Mac Jones. I don't know, Awthentik. I guess I'm gonna go. Screw it. I need Tajay Spears to have a big game. I'm gonna go Tennessee Titans to win this game. I'm gonna go. Jesus. I'm gonna go over 39.5.
All right, let me reel this in here. So, Jacksonville stinks. The Titans stink. It's going to be Tajay Spears versus Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, that's where we're going. Basically.
One of them is dependent on getting the ball from the quarterback. Damn, this is probably the toughest pick of the week. They're so bad. Let's go with the under 39.5 to start things off, okay?
You are all about the unders today.
Jacksonville favored by 1.5. Let's go with the Jags. Jags to cover.
All right. Up next, the Dallas Cowboys. They're 7-8. They're headed to the brotherly love Philadelphia Eagles, who are 12-3. The Eagles are 7-point favorites. No Jalen Hurts, no CeeDee Lamb. The over-under is another stinker at 38.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
So this is how I'm going to judge and gauge this game. Last week against the Washington Commanders, the Eagles put up a good amount of points, but they allowed y'all to score a lot of points. I still think that this is a really good defense. This is a top 5 unit in the NFL right now. I think they'll be able to do enough against a lesser opponent. And that game last week scares me because Kenny Pickett was absolutely terrible, right? But I think that they're going to be able to get things on track with him practicing with the ones this week. That defense got to get back on track. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this, but I think Dallas is going to cover the 7. I think this game will be fairly close. I'm going to take I'll take the over 38.5 on this one.
I am going with the upset. I'm sticking with my pick from Thursday's show. I'm going to go Dallas Cowboys to win, and I'm going to take the under 38.5. I'm sticking to my 1917 score prediction for the Dallas Cowboys.
Did I have Eagles on Thursday's show?
Yes, you did.
What was the score, just so I could see if that over-under is correct?
28-19.
Damn. All right. Okay. I'm still taking that. Did I take the over this go-round?
You did take the over.
Okay, we good.
Okay, over or under 150 rushing yards for Saquon Barkley today?
I'm going to say under.
Under?
He's the focal point, so it's going to be tough for him to get his yards today. I'm going to go I'll go 108.
108. Up next, do you think he breaks the record against the Giants? Eric Dickerson?
I don't. I'm rooting for him, but I don't think he will. He's going to have to. He needs a big day today going to New York, maybe need 100, and then, I'll say he'll break it.
Speaking of the New York Giants, up next, it is the Indianapolis Colts. Joe Flacco, 7-8. They are 7.5-point favorites on the road against the New York Giants, who are 2-13 and looking for their first victory at home all year long. The over-under in this game got above 40 and a half. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I don't think there's any way we get to 40. I really don't. And both of these teams have not been scoring that well. If we get to 40, it's going to take about 24 points from the Colts, I would say, at least, if we were to get to 40. But I just don't see that happening. I'm going to take the Colts in this one. I'm going to take the under 40 and a half. I think the Giants cover the 7.5.
That is literally exactly what you picked on Thursday.
Consistency, man. You know?
Indianapolis 23, New York Giants 17. So literally at 40.
Perfect.
I am going to go also Indianapolis to win. I'm taking the Colts to cover the 7.5, and I am going to take the under 40.5. Up next,
good stuff.
We got Tyler Huntley and the Miami Dolphins fighting for their playoff lives at a record of 7-8. They are 3.5-point favorites. They are going to the Cleveland location of Downtown Locker Room to face the Browns, who are 3-12. The over-under is 33.5. That can't be right. That's got to be a mistake.
I don't know, bro. You seen the Miami Dolphins without Tua in the lineup.
That doesn't seem possible.
And the Cleveland Browns are down to their third quarterback. I think that's right.
Tell me what you got while I double check.
Yeah, I got you. So this is another difficult pick here, man. I mean, both these teams struggling at the quarterback position. We've seen what Miami looks like without their starting quarterback, and they look like one of the worst offenses in the league when he's not out there. This is tough. I'm going to go with Miami, but I really don't trust it, to be honest. I'll say Miami wins it. Miami covers the 3.5. 33.5.
Okay, you want to know something even crazier? It's lower now.
What's it at now?
32.5.
32.5. Nah, I'm gonna say we get over that. Somehow, some way. Maybe off strength of some defensive plays, maybe some defensive scoring.
That's disgusting. 32.5.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins to win. I'll take the Dolphins to cover. If it just takes a chance to just have the game of his life, a chance to be able to beat the Browns by himself. I'll take the Dolphins to win, Dolphins to cover, and I'll take the over. Now 32.5, 33.5. It's got to get over that. That's just really bad right there. And that's the only 4:00 game. Most of you guys are gonna have to sit through at least 20 minutes of that.
They
20,
did that
minutes.
only one 4:00 game.
Yeah, they have a 4:25 game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at least there'll be 2 games on Red Zone in the window.
Yeah. You'll have 30 minutes of just Miami, Cleveland to kind of give yourself a bathroom break or whatnot. But the 4:25 game is definitely going to be a delight.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers 11-4 headed to Minnesota to face the Vikings, who are 13-2 and 1.5-point favorites. Over under in this game is 48.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Big game.
I'm going with my heart. As much as I love my co-host playing quarterback and doing this show on the same day, I think the Green Bay Packers are a very good team and a scary team that most teams don't want to play in the playoffs. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. I'm going to take the Vikings to cover. I'm going to take the over 48.5. This is going to be one hell of a shootout here. That's where I'm at. Tell me what you got.
I like it. I'm taking the Vikings as well. I think they'll cover the 1.5. I think it's going to be under the 48.5, though. I think this game gets a little bit ugly, a little bit sloppy, maybe a couple turnovers here and there, and will be somewhere in the 20s, I'll say, for the winner. But give me the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to take this one.
Up next, we're going to prime time, baby. It's the Atlanta Dirty Birds, who are 8-7. They are headed to D.C. inside of Maryland, Landover, to face the Commanders, who are 10-5. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 46.5. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell me what you got.
Washington Commanders are the first double-digit winning team of one of our teams in the history of this podcast. Congratulations to you and the gang on that one time. I think y'all are going to win this game. I'll be rooting for Michael Penix, and we'll be cutting up the Michael Penix compilation as well. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll do Michael Penix and I'll do Jaden Daniels, because we've only done 1 or 2 Jaden Daniels
and you
games
said
this
this
year.
is the first time of first-round rookie quarterbacks playing each other in prime time,
in prime time. Yep. So this is a big matchup here, and I want to see Michael Penix on this stage. Hopefully his wide receivers or tight end in last week's case don't sell him and, force some interceptions there. But I'm taking the Commanders. I think the Commanders will win. I think the Commanders will cover. Let's go over to 46.5 just to make a Sunday night football game extremely hype and just amazing and a good boat race here.
I am going to take the Washington Commanders to win, Commanders to cover, and I'm going to take the over. Washington 31, Atlanta 24. Washington clinches a playoff spot. Up next, Monday Night Football. And the last game for all of you in fantasy football championships to have a shot to come back and win. The Detroit Lions, who are 13-2, they are 3.5-point favorites. They are headed to San Francisco. 49ers are 6-9. The San Francisco 69ers over-under is a whopping
69ers. That's
50
crazy.
and a half.
That's crazy.
Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm taking the Detroit Lions to win, the Lions to cover. Give me the under 50 and a half.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Yeah, I like that. I'm locked in with that. Man, the under 50 and a half is a little sketchy.
It is. I thought about it as I was saying it because I was like, I don't know, man. The Lions put up like 45 points for fun.
Yeah, that's how they do. But I'm a rock with it. I'll take the under 50 and a half as well, and the Detroit Lions are going to win this one and cover.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more question before we get you guys out of here in literally a full hour of time to place some NFL bets and some, fix your fantasy lineups you need fit or build yourself a DraftKings lineup. Big shout out to our guy in the chat. His name would be C-Bands Never Stay Lacking 45. Says, what up, fellas? I'm here for my weekly question. Do I go Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels? Kittle or Bowers? Let's get the easy one out the way first. You go Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a must play no matter what.
Yeah.
The dude is an absolute machine. So we're gonna go Brock
5 receptions
Bowers.
on the year, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. It's tough. I mean, Josh Allen has just the guy is he's an MVP, candidate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Jaden Daniels has gotten to this point in his rookie campaign where he feels comfortable enough to put a team on his shoulders. He's running a little bit more. I think that benefits you in fantasy. It's tough. It's tough because I tell you, I'd say I was in this position for all season long up until the playoffs because on that team I got eliminated. I didn't make the playoffs. And I think I went Josh Allen, I'd say probably 70% of the time. And I was wrong to play Josh Allen 40 of that 70%. I don't know if that helps at all. That's hard math to math right now. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to go Josh Allen. Here's the thing. With Atlanta, they're going to be able to stop the run. Me and the Beard had a lengthy conversation yesterday about this, and we looked up a lot of data on the Atlanta Falcons rush defense, which I believe they're ranked number 11 on the season. But in the last 3 weeks, they're ranked number 2 in the NFL. They are stopping the run in a major way. They are not allowing running backs to get in the end zone either. So I think that what that's going to do is it's going to force Jaden Daniels to actually have to do what he did last week and the week before that, which is put everything on his shoulders, which in primetime games, he has shown that he can do that. But I don't know about the running capability from Jaden Daniels today going up against this Falcons defense. I think Josh Allen might be the safer play, but I don't think you can go wrong, man. Like, Jaden Daniels has been doing it all year long, getting in the end zone. They literally don't got much over there outside of him and Terry McLaurin, and week in and week out, he's getting it done. And same thing goes for Josh Allen, right? Like, not really many weapons over there, but he's still getting it done every week. So I don't think you can go wrong, but I personally would go with Josh Allen, and obviously we'd go with Brock Bowers.
All right. We're going to leave you guys with a anytime touchdown pick. Who you got, Awthentik?
Oh, how you going to just, like, freestyle the question and throw it at me first? But I'm good at this. It's all good. So let me see. Anytime touchdown. I was going to say Saquon, but we're not going to make it that easy. Let's go anytime touchdown. I'm just kind of looking at the games here. Let's go with Tajay Spears.
All right, I'll give you the three-headed monster. We'll if you guys want to build an anytime touchdown parlay, we'll put in Tajay Spears. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor, and I'm gonna go Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving is in a fantastic position this week. He should have that's a great one, actually. Bucky should have a huge game this week. And I almost said Jonathan Taylor, but I was like, it's kind of just as easy as Saquon. So I was like, let me stay away from these top backs.
Yeah, so
but I like Jonathan Taylor against the Giants. He should score.
Yeah, nice little 3-touchdown parlay there. Jonathan Taylor, Tajay Spears, and Bucky Irving. We appreciate all the love and all the support, ladies and gentlemen. We wish you all the best of luck for those of you that are on your championship games here in fantasy football. It's been a long road of fantasy football this year. I made the playoffs in 4 leagues, and I am in the championship in 2. If you're building DraftKings lineups, hopefully you guys found some good quarterback, wide receiver stacks to win you some money and win some bets this week in NFL. And we appreciate all the love and all the support. Don't forget to give us a follow on Twitter at TimWalkOnWater2 at Awthentik, where you guys can find links to everything that we are doing at any given point in time. And Awthentik, you are on Bleacher Report after the Giants game today.
Yep. It'll be probably about 4:05, something like that.
You want to lead us on out the tunnel, Awthentik?
Absolutely. Championship week. You know, the fire, the smoke's coming up on the sides right now. We definitely are going to put y'all in our prayers, hoping that you guys can get the dub, get your fantasy, your jackpots for those of y'all that are playing for money and those of y'all that are just playing for bragging rights. Hopefully y'all can get that as well. So best of luck to everybody. Hopefully we helped y'all out. Again, we are not giving out any financial advice. We're just guys up here talking football. Hopefully we're correct on this one. But if we are right, you got to pull a Sebastian and pull back up and give us our props. Retweet us on Twitter. Tell a friend to tell a friend about this show right here. because we have steered some people into some championships over the past couple of years. Haven't been able to do that for myself. This year was knocked out. I think only won 4 games. But the guy that the Beard is playing in the championship, I beat that guy twice this year. So that's my Super Bowl right there. But y'all know how we end every show over here on Awthentik and the Beard. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams, because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. And a life without dreams is a life in black and white. Rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, Combat Jack. And that's a wrap, y'all. Enjoy y'all football Sunday. Go Indianapolis Colts. Peace.
Spike don't care.